Haristutihi Shloka 35. Prano vaham vakshravanadini manova buddhirvaham vyasta utahopi samastaha ityalocya jnaptirihasmiti viduryam tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimide. Anvayarthaha aham pranaha va वाक् श्रवणादीनि मनः वा बुद्धिः वा अहं व्यस्तः उताहो अपि समस्तः इति आलोच्य इह ज्ञप्तिः अस्मि इति यं विदुः तं संसारध्वान्तविनाशं हरिम् ईडे. Here a process of inquiry into the nature of the self that is presented. Aham pranaha va. I am this pranavayu, is it? Usually the understanding is that we cannot live if we don't breathe. So one tends to think I, the nature of I, Atma, is this pranavayu. And then Vak Shravanadini. I am this speech. I am this sense of hearing. I am this sight. Or maybe I am this sense of smelling or the sense of touch. Because this sense of touch is felt all over the body. So maybe I am these organs of action, karmendriyani, or maybe I am the organs of perception, jnanendriyani, or manaha va. I am this mind, is it? Or buddhihi va. I am this intellect, is it? Or aham vyastaha. I am each of these different entities, is it? Because I am inhering in each of these. So maybe each of these different entities I am. Utaho api samastaha. Or perhaps, maybe, indeed, the collective assemblage of all these I am. Iti alochya. Thus, in this method, by thinking and analyzing, one comes to understand that iha, in this body-mind-sense complex, jnaptihi asmi. I am knowledge as such. I am the jnana swarupa. Here, jnaptihi means knowledge as such. Knowledge means not one particular knowledge like cloth knowledge, pot knowledge or table knowledge, etc. It is the Atma of the knower, known and knowledge. Atma means the Swarupa, the nature of the knower, known knowledge. That is the knowledge as such which is mentioned by the word Jnaptihi. In other words, Jnaptihi is the Jnana Swarupa, the knower, otherwise also mentioned as pure consciousness. And then, iti yam viduhu, like this, that Paramatma who is understood, tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimide. I worship that Hari, the destroyer of ignorance which causes samsara. So by pondering over the realities, analyzing the nature of everything, the yogis and the scholars, they understand that the nature of the self, the true nature of the self is knowledge, the jnana swarupa, satyam jnanam anantam brahma. This is the way Taittiriya Upanishad defines Brahman. So that jnanam which is part of Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That is mentioned here in this shloka. The structure of this verse is based upon Aitareya Upanishad. Now, I am going to explain very briefly a part of Aitareya Upanishad so that the Shruti content, that which is told in that part of the Upanishad, it can be connected with this verse and we can know the significance of this verse of prayer. So, Aitareya Shruti introduces Paramatma as the Jagat Karanam, the cause of the entire universe. The Shruti says, Atmava idam eka eva agra asit. This Paramatma alone was there before the universe emerged. And this Paramatma is the creator, the Karanam. Then to establish that this Paramatma is the only one without a second, that is Advitiyatva Siddhaye. In order to establish the non-dual nature of Paramatma, Shruti says Sa Ikshata, which means this Paramatma with his own creative power known as Maya Shakti, he thought or he desired or visualized the creation. You see, this word Ikshata has to be understood by implication as thought or desire or visualized. Then from that Paramatma alone the universe emerged in different stages. These different stages of creation are presented in the Upanishad in a particular order. So, after saying Sa Ikshata, the Loka Srishti is described by the Upanishad with the 5 elements, Panchabhutani. The creation of 14 lokas is specifically described in the Upanishad. After that, it says, Sa Ikshata imenu loka lokapalanu srija iti. In the created world, the beings have to connect with the objects. So, Indriya Srishti is spoken about. Here, Indriya means it includes the Jnanendriyani, organs of sense perception, then Karmendriyani, organs of action, then Antahkaranam, the thinking faculties, mind, intellect, all these are known as Indriya Srishti. Then further, to govern these Indriyas, Devata Srishti is spoken about. Devata Srishti means presiding deities of every function is spoken about. Then Sharira Srishti, creation of the physical body which has to hold the sense organs, that is spoken about. And then with the blessings of the presiding deities, the sense organs hold or the sense organs are held by the physical body and then the organs perform actions. This is understood. So then this physical body mind sense complex is connected to the objective world with hunger and thirst. What is very important to note here is that hunger and thirst is common to all the 5 senses. That is how the Upanishad describes. Like for example, the eyes are hungry for forms and colors. And then the ears are hungry for beautiful, soothing words. Like that, you have to understand with respect to every sense organ. So then the Shruti says, Annamebhyasrija iti. To satisfy that hunger and thirst with respect to every organ, the corresponding objects in the world are the food. Like we say, food for thought. So, like that, pleasing fragrance is food for the nostrils. A melodious music is food for the ears. Like that, you have to extend and understand. So, then Upanishad speaks about Anna Srishti. After that, the capacity to swallow, digest, and assimilate food in all the bodies, that is spoken about, and that is called as apana pranaha, the food consuming power, that is spoken about. Now, here what we need to understand is the mention of hunger, ashana pipasa, hunger and thirst, that represents desire. And then the desire itself implies a certain inadequacy. Therefore, all the organs are associated with a sense of want, implying incompleteness or inadequacy, which is known as samsara. I want something, the presence of desire, that is samsara. So, all this srishti is within samsara. Now, like that, the Upanishad explains that everything in creation is dependent on something else, which means dependent objects must be inert and cannot interact and function independently by themselves. So, therefore, Upanishad says, Paramatma entered every being and became the experiencer, the Jivatma. So, Anupraveshaha of Paramatma, entry of Paramatma is explained in detail. Now, here the word Anupraveshaha, entry, is only a figurative expression because Paramatma is all pervading. Then, as a Jiva, one is so connected to the world of objects and overpowered by the concealing power of Maya that one goes through repeated birth and death and suffers the dualities of samsara. Then, by gaining a lot of punya over so many lifetimes, the jiva starts an inquiry into the nature of the self. So now coming back to this shloka, the first quarter of this verse, aham pranaha va, vak shravanadini va, manaha va, then part of the second quarter, buddhihi va. All this is in the form of the initial level of inquiry into the nature of the self. Upanishad itself mentions this method. So, the jiva thinks, I must be this pranavayu. And then further, with more thinking, that is negated by understanding the dependence of pranavayu on the physical body. So, for the vayu to exist and function, the body must be there. Otherwise, there is no purpose of having this vayu. Like that, I cannot be the pranavayu iti, that is negated. Then one thinks, perhaps I am this speech, maybe I am this hearing, maybe I am the sight, or maybe I am this mind which is thinking. Like that, every part of Srishti is deliberated upon, and then in all this, it is understood that the organs of action, organs of knowledge, the mind, intellect are all inert by themselves. And then all these are negated as not I, iti. Then the shloka says, aham vyastaha uta samastaha. I am each one of these or all of them put together. That is, when I say I am hungry, I am thirsty, I talk, I hear, I see, I think, I understand, etc. When we say all these, in all these expressions, the I is different. And is that the nature of I? Or all together is one I? Iti one ponders over this. So then the Upanishad goes on to say, Atha koham, who am I? And then more subtle aspects of creation are analyzed. Then Upanishad says, Tasya traya avasathaha trayaswapnaha. The jiva goes through 3 experiences every day throughout life: the state of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. That is, the jiva is a waker, and then in the waking world, the dreamer in the dreaming world, and then is the sleeper in deep sleep. So, thinking like this, one comes to ask the question, there must be someone that causes all this to be known. Iti alochya. Analyzing like this, one comes to understand the I, aham, inhering in all these, must be different, vilakshanaha, from all these experiences, and this I, aham, must be present all the time and never changing. So then this I am witness, Sakshi Chaitanyam iti one comes to realize. And this is said in the shloka as Iha, in this creation, in and through this creation, and in and through this body mind sense complex, and through all the experiences, Nyaptihi asmi, I am that knowledge of the knower, known, and knowledge. In other words, knowledge as in Atma. I am that consciousness principle lending existence to all the forms in creation. So, I am of the nature of knowledge as such. Nyaptihi asmi. Iti yam viduhu. Thus, the wise who know Paramatma, that Paramatma I worship. Tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ide. So I offer this verse praising that Paramatma, Hari, who removes the darkness called samsara. Prano vaham vak shravanadini manova buddhirvaham vyasta utahopi samastaha ityalocya jnaptirihasmi iti viduryam tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimide. Namaste.